Good afternoon, and welcome to the Music and Technology Seminar at Carnegie Mellon. Who would have thought that a company that made mattresses would want an experienced audio engineer to join their group? For Felix Lee, a fourth-year student in Music and Technology at Carnegie Mellon, working at a mattress company startup was just the first of 3 almost overlapping internships, each as different as day is from night and as heavy metal is to Renaissance madrigals. Please welcome Felix Lee to the Music and Technology Seminar.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all so much for showing up and listen to my presentation. I'm going to share my screen now. Okay. So yeah, today the title of the seminar is Exploring Different Opportunities as a Music and Technology Student through various internship positions. And again, my name is Felix, and I just a little bit about myself. I was born in Shenyang, China, a northeast city, very close to Russia and North Korea. When I was in grade 7, my family immigrated to Vancouver, Canada, where I basically spent most of my life there. Yeah, so kind of my audio engineering and music and technology career really started in high school. My school was actually a public school, but we had like a big arts mini school program where students who are interested in arts, music, drama, can take exam and then get into this special program. And where we have really good band director and really good resources to help different art students to grow their career, and maybe some of them don't go into the professional industry, but just to get a better arts program in high school. However, in grade 10, the pandemic hit, and everything has to be shut down. Especially there weren't any in-person performances anymore. And at the time, I was a percussionist in the wind ensemble and a tenor in the choir. And the band director and choir director came up to me and asked me if there's a solution so the parents can watch their kids perform, and since the theaters are not open. So I started to learn about recording and streaming. You can see there's a screenshot of the first live stream concert I ever did in high school. We were lucky enough to get an AKG C414, but I had no clue how to use them. So that's what's in this center. And we also had this, really the main stereo mic was just the Zoom handy recorder, which also acted as an audio interface. So it was not a good setup. And we were in the small, in the gym, the reverb was also crazy. But however, that really got me interested in how music and technology came together, and really just kind of bring the in-person technology performance combination with technology can really kind of bring the performance to a next level and make sure everyone have access to the performance. And then I came to CMU, and I started. So a lot of like new students usually ask me, how do you start? How do you start to get internships? And I always say start with on-campus opportunities, because they are the best. They're great because sometimes they don't expect you to have a lot of background experience. And a lot of the external opportunities, they always on the first of the requirement list, they'll ask you to have like previous job experiences and things like that. But a lot of the on-campus opportunities, they don't require that. And I started at the School of Music's recording services with Christian Chechko, and most of you guys know him or have met him. And I think a lot of you are in the recording services. It's great. I learned so much in while working for the crew. Recorded so many concerts, got myself familiar with Pro Tools. And that was a great start for me. And I'm sure most of you have also taken the Intro to Music and Technology class with Professor Opie. And that's also one of my positions. I was a cluster assistant. Basically, I man the cluster so student can come in and work on their projects. A lot of the time it's just sitting there, make sure no one steals stuff, make sure all the things are working properly. But sometimes you will get questions from the students who are taking the course. Maybe it's about Max MSP, or it's about Finale and or like Pro Tools at the time. I think they're teaching Ableton now. And that really got me interested in thinking about being a TA or teaching a course of my own. That got me interested in teaching audio technology. So yeah, most of you know me as the TA of your sound recording classes. I'm a TA for sound recording, editing, mastering, multi-track, as well as the music tech seminar. I usually run the Canvas course for this and the YouTube channel. And I apologize that I haven't been uploading the recordings from the previous seminar. I promise I'll get to them. And so yeah, it's really my favorite position because as a TA, I get to interact with new students, not just new music tech students, but students from different majors. Some of them are tapper, and you'll be surprised how good they are as musicians. Everyone plays an instrument, and they can always, even though they're on the other side, they're in the mixing room. If you ask them to record something, they'll always have something to record, and they always are glad to be in the recording studio. So now I want to talk about my first off-campus internship. And as Ricardo mentioned, is at this crazy company called Bryte. Bryte is a mattress company. However, they're a fancy mattress company. They call themselves the AI restorative sleep platform. Basically, what they do is that they have this mattress that has that has 80 air pumps in them, and they're in their special zones, and they can inflate and deflate the pump according to your sleep position or your personal preference. You can inflate the pump to make it firm or soft, and it can change it throughout the night. There are sensors on almost every individual zones to detect your posture, detect your position, as well as what what state of sleep you're in. And again, this is a video of how the technology actually works. And just gonna let it play out just a little. I think that's it. So I worked on this feature called Somnify, but I think recently they rebranded this feature to Bryte Waves. So basically what it is kind of a unique multisensory audio-driven content that is built to help the customers to relax and fall asleep faster. This basically pairs custom-made audio with the movement of the bed. So as an audio engineer, I have to create the audio content, sleep relaxation musics. A lot of them are like ASMR, and some calming music. So that was fun. I got to tap into my creative and composition side, as well as my computer science and engineering background. I had to write a lot of scripts to pair the mattress to move with the music. And we did a lot of testing using proprietary software to create new contents. And I worked with engineers, either material engineers. Actually, he was from CMU, and I reported directly to the chief product officer. And we worked on to better this project. Actually, the intern who previously worked on this feature was also from CMU. And during the summer, we kind of did quite a bit of research user study to make sure that the contents are really relaxing for the users. And we also set a new set of rules on how the mattress should move, and to make sure all the hardware in there are not broken in the long term. So yeah, that was really fun. I got to, it was a tiny company of 30 people. It was a startup, and it was based in Pittsburgh. So I got to spend my summer here. And in the startup, I was the only audio person, so I was kind of my own boss. But I got to work with everyone from product managers to the CTO to the software engineers. Actually, we worked on a beat detection algorithm, and so one of our research goal was to have the user to provide their own music, and through beat detection, and we can generate a script, so the bed can move to the audio that's provided by the user. So the internship and actually was for the summer, but I stayed on for the entire year. During the school year, I was working part-time, and I think that was one of the great things about having the position in Pittsburgh, because I still can go into to the office to test out the mattress. It was a weird job. 50% of my time was laying on the mattress, testing what happens. And the end goal of my work is to make the customer fall asleep. So there was definitely times that I fell asleep and on the mattress while getting paid. But I guess that's what I was working towards. So that was extremely fun. During my tenure there, we also worked on another feature called the Sleep Concierge, which is this AI concierge assistant for your sleep information. You can ask the AI anything. You can tell them, oh, so which Somnify uh, piece should I run today? I'm feeling really tired, or I'm having a back pain. Can you suggest one of the Somnify massage to me? So yeah, that was great. And so yeah, that internship ended April of 2024, and I'm still kind of working with them to help them out with a few things. And yeah. And by the way, if you have any questions, just interrupt me and let me know.
How
So
expensive were the mattresses? How
how
much did
expensive the mattress?
I'm so curious. Yes. How much did they cost?
So the mattress actually cost, I think, the starting price was $6,000, something like that, or $7,000. So it was definitely a very expensive mattress. And they're one of their main partners were the hotels. Actually, they were really big into hospitality. They got those mattresses into fancy hotel like Park Hyatt, and that was one of their major way to get clients. So people who slept on the mattress in the hotels, maybe they like them a lot, then they would perhaps consider buying them. And the hotels cost like 2,000, 3,000 a night. So I think $6,000 mattress wasn't too big of a deal for those customers. So yeah, they were definitely aiming for the very high end. But I will have to say it's the most comfortable mattress I have been on. And with all the technology, it's really helpful. I was given the choice to give up my pay to get a mattress. But I said I rejected that because I was living in a dorm. I couldn't fit in a $6,000 mattress. But yeah, so fast forward to this summer, I guess. I did another internship at CamLab. So as the sound design intern. So CamLab is this kind of research / media lab that is part of the Harvard Faculty of Arts and Science. And it is actually directly under the Art and Architecture History Department under Professor Eugene Wang. So it is a very interesting place where we kind of use multimedia, multisensory, and innovative technology, media technology to showcase art and culture through kind of this immersive installations, exhibits, films, even some research, digital publications, and live performances and seminars. So these photos are taken in the CamLab cave, which is the headquarters of Harvard CamLab, and where I spend most of my time. It is located on Harvard Square. And so Harvard CamLab is really about showcasing kind of because of the professor's focus, it was more towards showcasing Eastern Asian arts and religious arts as well. We did a lot of collaborations with a lot of research institutes in Asia, in China, and museums. And our goal is to bring those history and especially art history, architecture history into this modern, more innovative way to showcase the culture behind it and the research that's supporting it. So as as the sound design intern, I got to be involved in a few projects that happened in the summer. We worked with even a few high school students who had very really talented backgrounds in what they do. Some of them are art history researchers. Some of them are design interns like me. So we really work together, the research team that will research the history, the arts behind the project, and the design team will really take the research and put it into the installation. And we also had a few very interesting seminars and workshops from different faculties members from Harvard and as well as Institute in Boston. We got a tour of many Harvard libraries and just learned quite a bit how CamLab as a media lab work and how they collaborate with the different institutes in Harvard. So I'm gonna skip that and hopefully you guys can still see my screen. So I'm just gonna talk about one of the projects that I worked on during the summer. It's called it's called Cave Dance. I think I mentioned it briefly during our first seminar. So in China, there's this very famous culture site called Dunhuang, which they have thousands of caves, which they have cave paintings and sculptures that dated 1,000 years ago, and it was from the work from different dynasties and different artists. I think there are many caves. And one of our project, Cave Dance, is really kind of went into those caves and studied the cave paintings, the wall paintings, and especially the paintings of different dancers. And we took those paintings and studied the poses of those dancers, and used some machine learning and AI technology and some motion capturing as well with a few dancers from China to really brought those ancient dance to life. Actually, before the project was kind of marketed as a machine learning project, but the Harvard machine learning department told us that there are not actually enough data to call it machine learning. So we used those wall paintings as well as different writings and scripts, and study the pose, and brought one of the sculpture that the Harvard Art Museum had to life, basically to dance. And I worked on the audio design part. For the music, it was also very, very interesting. Their website design is quite cool, but not my favorite. Where is the, oh, here we go. Sorry. So yeah, together with a team from Beijing University, we worked on actually transcribing the ancient Chinese music scripts that were found in the Dunhuang cave. And we kind of transcribed that into modern notations, and kind of just to get a sense of what the authentic music sounded like at the time. And we included many of the pieces and melodies in our final audio design. I can play some MIDI rendering of the melody. So that was also really fun to kind of work with the music history team in China to kind of unearth the music background of that. So yeah, and if I can show you guys what it looks like. So the project is actually installed both in Harvard CAMLab, in the immersive room, in this projection room that they actually worked with MIT Media Lab to realize this very thin projection techniques, and in this room full of mirrors, so it looks like it was going infinity. And you can see the line figure dances with the music, and actually animate the Buddhist sculpture that they have in the Harvard Art Museum. So we also, in the summer, we worked on another film. It was a documentary based on this Chinese architect, Liang Sicheng, and his time in Harvard and his work in China as well. We did quite a bit of research. We went to the Harvard Art Museum archives, and got to read a lot about the art and art history department at the time, as well as Liang's personal study in Harvard. Back. Okay, reshare my screen. So let's talk about now. So I'm currently in Orlando, Florida, in the hotel actually, where I've been staying for this week. I am currently working as a technical intern at Universal Creative. underneath the AVPL team, which is audio, visual, projection, and lighting team. And it's all under the big family of engineering and safety. And how many of you guys been to the Universal Orlando Resort, the theme parks? If you can raise your hand, or just yell out if you have. Or Universal Hollywood. Anyone? Okay. Yeah, so yeah, so for those that you don't know about Universal Studios, especially the theme park, a Universal Studio is this, movie studio that produced many iconic movies, probably one of the most famous and popular movie studios out there, from like the classic monsters, Frankenstein, to like nowadays we have Minions, actually. Illuminations, also part of Universal Studios. We have DreamWorks Land, which have like famous animations like Kung Fu Panda. We actually bought the rights to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter from Warner Brothers. And what else? There is Jaws. A lot of Steven Spielberg movies are Universal produced, and like E.T. Yeah, things like that, Fast and Furious, and basically Universal Studios theme park started as kind of a tram tour of the actual Universal Studio in Los Angeles. So back in the days, people would just pay like $10 and they can go on this tram tour around the studio site to see how the movies were made. And then before that, when movie didn't have sound, when they were still silent, when silent movies, actually people can buy tickets to go into the movie studio and watch how the movie were filmed. And they can laugh, they can clap, and that won't be impacting the production of the movie. But since hockey happened, then you can't really have live studio audience anymore. Then the tram tour happened. They got to see the New York streets set and all the different amazing Universal Studio sets in Hollywood. And Universal Orlando, or Universal Resort Florida, was the second project, and it was just a theme park. So Universal Hollywood is a movie studio that happens to be a theme park. But Universal Orlando is a theme park, but sometimes films movies. So the goal is really to bring the audience into the movies, to let you experience part of the movies, take you in as part of the ride, or you can walk on. This is the photo I have. There is Diagon Alley. Any of you are Harry Potter fans, so you get to interact. You can buy a Harry Potter wand to interact with all the things. You can do spells and things like that. And they're amazing rides as well, from scary roller coasters to more 4D immersive rides. And in Florida, there are 3 theme parks that are already open. One is the Universal Studio Florida, Islands of Adventure. And the third one is Volcano Bay, which is a water theme park. There is a 4th one coming up. I can't talk too much about it. It was already announced. It's called Epic Universe. It should be here next year. It has some amazing stuff, How to Train Your Dragon lands and things like that. So as the technical intern, I got to support the AVPL team, which is the audio visual projection and lighting team. Actually the core team at engineering and safety. So how Universal Creative works, it is a company that basically creates the theme park. It creates the ride, it creates the buildings, also the architecture form. They start from the creative studio where they imagine how the theme park and rides should be. And then they got passed down to engineering and safety, which is the department I am part of. The engineering and safety team make sure it happens. Either, if physics allow it, or from the safety standpoint, how do we bring the vision of the creative studio to life? And then we have another project management teams, and we all work together to design and build theme parks or work on previous project, renovate theme parks. And we actually, the Universal Studio Orlando Resort is our customer. We develop, we build it, and we hand it off to them. So the core AVPL team, actually, there are only 4 engineers on them. There are one is the director, one's assistant director, and 2 senior engineers. They're the core team that actually oversees all the projects that's happening right now. And I'm very lucky to be an intern underneath the core team, because I get to be part of all the different projects that's happening in Universal Creative. And I signed, this is another tip for all the interns, for a lot of jobs that you're going to apply to or you're going to work for, you'll have to sign NDAs. For this job, I signed like 5 or 6 NDAs. So I cannot talk a lot about what I'm currently working on or what's happening other than that it's already been publicly released. But I get to interact not only with the core engineers, but with the different AVPL responsible personnels in different project teams. And this is my 2nd week here in Orlando. This is only a part-time position, so I'll be in Pittsburgh. My time will kind of split in Pittsburgh and Orlando. So I get to interact with different people from the different projects. And yeah, so it's really fun, and I'm already been learning a lot. As you have noticed, I'm a music tech major and audio engineer, but the team is AVPL. So I only know a lot about A, but VPL, I'm not too familiar with. So I'm also trying to get into the realm of visual lighting and projection, and there are a lot of resources for me to learn. Actually, last week, what I can talk about is I did almost 3 days full of safety trainings, and that's always fun. To learn about not to climb on a ladder when there's no one helping you or things like that. But yeah, I got to be on site on the construction sites or whatever. So there are a lot of things happening. Actually, in this week, I'm working on a project in the existing park. So I had to work at night. So I was just talking to Ricardo about it. My last night's shift started at 11 p.m. and ended at 6 a.m. Because we have to make sure the customers are not in the park while we're working on it. And tonight, my shift starts at 9 p.m. and it will probably end at 6 a.m. as well. See? Yeah, so I got a cool badge. I have free admissions to the park. I can go into the park and play whenever I want, and a good discount on the hotels as well. And it's nice to have those perks. Let me just say that. Actually, Universal, it has 3 theme park, 1 coming up, but it has 5 hotels already and 3 hotels coming up as well with the new theme park. So it's huge here. I think it's 500 acres of current theme park, but the new one is going to be another 500. So it will be very, very cool. But our direct competitor is Disney Imagineering. They're just right down the street. And I have to say, during my safety trainings and orientations, there were a lot of this about Disney. And they're in this love and hate rivalry. I know most of them has worked in both companies, but again, they're friends, but they're good competitors. So I will talk a little bit about my personal projects and as well as research outside of my internships. So I've been a recording engineer for WQED-FM. I've recorded several projects with the Pittsburgh Opera, as well as a few local ensembles like Chatham Baroque, and I got to drive up to Theo College to record a few awesome concerts there as well. A lot of my work with WQED-FM already was aired on the radio, and it was really fun to hear my recording and editing up there as well. Personally, I also have a few mixing projects going on. One was this amazing musician called Davis Baldwin. I think many of you have met him, and he will be a freaking guest to the recording studio. And he has a few music videos and songs out as well on Spotify and Apple Music. I also have my own band on campus. It's called CMU Dot Underwater, and I used to be the lead singer, but our drummer left, so I became the drummer. I don't have too much background in playing the drums, but I'm trying my best. As a band, actually, we did quite a lot. During my freshman year, we actually, because a lot of our members are from Vancouver, like me, we actually worked in a bar. So we played there twice a week for a whole summer. And we got to play at Richmond Night Market, which is actually the biggest night market in North America. So we were on stage for that and played a set. And that was one of the most incredible experiences out there. We are a team of people who have like different majors. Our old bass player, she was an architecture major. My guitarist is a CS guy. So, you know, we just play for fun and mostly on campus. We actually have a performance coming up at the CSSA, Chinese Student and Scholar Associations, their like singing competition where guest performers, I think that's next Sunday. And you'll probably see us in the recording studio sometimes this year, as this is our, most of us, final year. So I'll try to do some recording. And the fun fact about our band is that we're really multilingual. We do a lot of Chinese song, English song. Our drummer, our old drummer, is half Japanese, so she did a lot of Japanese songs as well. And we also had an amazing singer whose name is Sue. He was Korean and he got to do a few Korean songs with us. So if you sing a different language and want to do something, let us know. We always want to, you know, tap into the realms of different cultures and things like that. So I'm also on Team Crescendo, which was a GCS project. If you guys don't know, GCS is Game Creation Society. We're a team that actually kind of not right now. We were a GCS project. Now we're an individual team working on this game called Noir. It is a 2.5 game made in Unity. Is a soul-like game. If you guys like games or similar to kind of Legend of Zelda, Death's Door, and so I'm the audio engineer. I am in charge of the audio middleware. We're using AthMod, if you guys know, and how it communicates with Unity, and also in charge of designing sound effects, as well as implementing the background music, the OST. On our team, we have two amazing composers, actually, are music tech majors. Well, they're BXA music tech majors, Mark and Leo. They're sophomores this year, I think. Yeah, sophomores. If you know them, they're great. They're great composers. They're in charge of composing all the music behind it, and I work with them a lot to make sure the music is implemented correctly in the game. Our game will come out next year, sometimes next year, hopefully. And watch out for them Steam page, and it will be a cheap game, so it shouldn't be too expensive. Personally, I'm also working on this research project with Daniel Rosenberg Younes, who is a professor at School of Design. Many of you who were here last year, you might have heard a seminar about this. That was with John Kolar, who did his master thesis on our project. Basically, is a wave field synthesis speaker, and we have and his focus was on the speakers, on the wave field synthesis, the spatial audio technique. But my focus is really to do spatial audio as well as multi-sensory design. So I work a lot with the motion tracking camera, as well as our spatial audio speaker array, and projections, dynamic projections that Professor is working on right now in the same rooms to design kind of cool experiences for people to try and kind of bring themselves into this special technology-filled room, I guess. We have installation going on in the Pittsburgh Children's Museum. So if you happen to be there, you can check us out. So I'm now this semester actually also teaching a Stuco class, 98069. It's called Production for Popular Music. Co-teaching it with one of my best friend, Cole Savitz Vogel, if you know him. He is a senior electronic music major. And so basically the reason why we started the Stuco is that there were a lot of people who were kind of interested in starting out on doing some pop songs production by themselves if they don't have any music background at all. And they want to learn about maybe like GarageBand, Logic, and synthesizers, MIDI. We put this course together. It's kind of a really simple and introduction of a DAW. We're currently teaching on Logic because it's the most accessible DAW out there. And the first 7 weeks, Cole is teaching that right now, and it's about synthesizers, MIDI, what does the knobs mean, and how do you really create cool sounds with just a computer. And the last 7 weeks, I'll talk a little bit about mixing like guitars, vocal instruments, and a little bit of editing and mastering in the popular music realm. So I think that's it for my presentation. And thank you all so much for listening. So I think it's time for any questions if you guys may have.
I have one. I know that you kind of told us like everything you're doing, but I was wondering if you could kind of like, it sounds like a lot, so could you line it up in a like chronological order of like when you started doing these things? Because it seems like a lot to do like all in your sophomore year, all in your junior year. Like when should I start looking into these things, you know?
Oh, sure, for sure. So I always suggest you guys to look into the internship positions early. At least try to, Google music and technology internships at least every week, just to, see what opportunities are opening up. Because the music and technology industry is quite small, and usually the internship programs designed for us are not as big as, for example, software engineering or investment banking. There's sometimes not really a set time when they will release the internship positions, so you have to be always on the lookout. So I can definitely go over. So my freshman year summer, I went back home, and I didn't really look for internship that year. I went back home to a course at my local university and played a lot with my band at the bar. And so that was my freshman year. But in my sophomore year is where I really started to apply myself into these positions. Actually, I think the first semester of my sophomore year was when I got myself applied to recording services as well as the music and technology cluster. And I worked there I'm actually still part of the recording services. But I was there for like around 2 semesters and got those really on my resume and as my previous experience, and that really helped me applying to external internships. And so my internship at the mattress company was my sophomore summer. And the internship actually was released in April of that year. So it was really late, and I just tried my luck. I didn't have any luck with any other internship programs. I tried myself, like I submitted 50 or something applications, but I was like, okay, you know what? This one is in Pittsburgh. even though it's a mattress company. But I'm sure it will be a great experience. Should just, working in a small company as my first position. So I applied there and then got an interview. And I'm lucky I got in. And that was actually my only interview of the year. And I'm lucky enough to get it. So yeah, again, I worked there all summer and stayed on as full-time throughout my junior year. Um, and then in February of 2024 of this year, I applied to CAMLab. Actually, prior to my application, I flew into Boston to visit the CAMLab cave. They have exhibit there, and I actually the curator that was showing me the exhibit was the coordinator of the internship program. So I really got to know her, talk to her about it, and really get to network before I even submitted the application. So that's another suggestion I have for you guys. Try to connect with the team. If this is a team like CamLab, go to their exhibit, even just as someone who's curious, not as a future applicants, go in and talk to them. And also during my interview, I brought up that I went in and flew in from Pittsburgh to Boston to see their exhibit and my personal experience about the exhibit. And I think that definitely helped. So if you guys are interested in actually the CamLab internship program, they have one every year during the summer. It's a great program. Actually, next summer, I will be helping them as an internship coordinator / project manager with the hiring process, as well as the whole coordination of the internship program. It's a very short program. It's only 7 weeks, and I think it will run in a hybrid schedule. So definitely talk to me about it. I know a lot about it now, and perhaps I'll be working with you in the summer. And so very interestingly is this universal internship. I actually applied, I think in February, and it's on the job description, it said summer/fall. And on my application, I made it pretty clear that I want to do summer internship. But they said, could you do fall? I couldn't say no. I can't say no to fall too. So my preference was summer. However, I didn't hear back from them at all. And I forgot about it. I totally forgot about it. And in May, I got an email saying that, oh, if you're still interested to do an interview for fall. I actually didn't get to see that email for almost 3 weeks because I was in China and my VPN wasn't working. And then I opened up my email after I got back, and it was like, oh my God, they gave me an interview. And thank God the manager reached out to me again, and I was able to schedule another interview with her and get myself interview for the fall position. So actually, they were trying to hire for the summer, but the project manager wasn't sure if he was in Orlando for the summer. So that actually didn't happen because he was working in Singapore. And they got green light for the fall's internship really late in May. So I was definitely one of the late hire. And I was very lucky to be a late hire as well. So yeah, that's kind of the chronological order of everything. Yeah, I started my research project in sophomore year, continuing to working on that as well. The game design team is in my junior year. So this is the second year, which is also really fun. Yeah. Hopefully I answered the question.
Yeah, no, that was perfect. Thank you.
Felix, can I ask, what's your favorite Souls-like or Souls game?
Okay, I have to say I'm not a big fan though of the genre. I don't play game that often. But I just started to play this game called Death's Door, which is very cool, very nice. And play it for the sake of not plagiarizing, but learning about the game, but I'm going to be very fond of it. Yeah.
Are there any chat window questions?
Oh, what was I saw one. Yeah, what is sorry, I didn't get to see the chat until now. So yeah, the interview process for Universal was quite interesting. So I actually did a 30 minutes phone interview with the talent acquisition recruiter. She kind of basically during that 30 minutes interview reconfirmed my intention as well as my previous experiences because she wasn't on the technical team. But she also asked a few questions about my kind of work ethics and things like that, and talked to me about the interview process, which was really helpful. That was only 30 minutes. And the second round, it was actually a panel of all the engineers in the core AVPL team. And I had an interview with all 4 of them, and they asked me a lot of technical questions, as well as my experience as well. Most of them came from actually theater backgrounds. So yeah, they kind of one of them worked at Cirque du Soleil, was the main audiovisual person behind it, and a lot of them worked at audio and technology companies before coming to Universal. And they asked me about kind of my experience with audio, and I was quite frank that I don't have much experience with lighting, but they understand that, and but I said I was willing to learn. Another interview tip that I can give to you guys is that always answer a question with reference to your previous experience. I think that's a trick that I do quite often. Is that like when they ask me a question, for example, like talk to me about your time management, then I will bring up one of my previous experiences. It might be on the resume already, but I just want to double down and kind of expand further. One of the question was, do you see yourself as a good communicator? Then I got to talk about being in the game design team. I have to collaborate with musicians and artists, as well as in Bryte, I have to talk to people who are in the mattress industry, as well as engineers. And as a musician myself, how do I take constructive criticisms, and how do I give constructive criticisms in those work environments? So yeah, always answer a question with reference to your previous experience. I think that will help you answer a lot more questions and expand as well.
Are there any other questions? Anyone online? Anything in the chat window?
Felix, you've inspired me to be more active on my handshake and look at all those internships. Thank you.
Welcome, Marco. Yeah, handshake is great. LinkedIn is also very nice. Build your LinkedIn, connect with me, and also another advice I can give is that there is a course offered in the spring called I forgot the name of it, but it's like inside the audio and video technology industry, and it's taught by oh my God, I forgot the professor's name, but yes, yeah. And he is, right now head of Adobe's music AI part, and he brings in amazing guests, people from the industry, from Spotify, Avid, where he previously worked. So go to that class, is 1 unit, and it's online, but there's no homework. It's just guest speakers coming in, talked about their experience, and he's also very nice. He could point you towards the right direction as well.
Okay, any other questions? Well, Felix, thank you so much for doing this. I think it was a real inspiration to hear all the things that you have done.
Thank
And
you.
are very well presented. So thank you so much. And now,
Yay.
okay, so I guess you have to get ready for your nighttime shift.
Yep.
Okay, and we'll see you back in Pittsburgh in a couple days.
Yep. We'll be back.
All right, thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
so much for being here.
This game.
Wait.